Lonely woman.
Who are you?
Miracle doctor from beyond the sky. I'm a friend of Nat's.
Who? And who am I?
Oh. You haven't introduced yourself yet.
Where's my husband? And where's my child?
Oh, Jesus.
Where are they? You know where they are, right?
Let's just try to relax.
You don't know. They don't know. Nobody knows. Where did they go?
Okay, somebody has to help this woman.
Come over here, child. It's best to leave that poor lady in peace. Let me explain. That poor lady. Both her husband and child became ill and passed away.
Oh, man. They must have been seriously ill.
Oh, not terribly serious, but they needed to get treatment every now and then, which did impact their livelihood. In order to try and rid themselves of the ailment once and for all, they bought some kind of wonder medicine. Who would have thought their condition would deteriorate so rapidly after they began using it? The two began to suffer terribly, such that death then became a blessing. It wasn't long before they departed this world, one after the other. From that moment on, she became as you see her now. If Dr. Natasha hadn't taken her under her wing, well, it doesn't bear thinking about.
I mean, yeah, it's poison.
And yet, what more could have been done? They were warned about the medicine. They were told about the risks. And they chose to roll the dice.
Someone should have stopped the guy.
Talking about it tires me out. At least my husband and I are able to help her where we can. I just hope that one day she can lead a normal life again.
Yeah. So wait, did Natasha really kill her brother? I mean, he was killing people, basically. So, I kind of understand if she did. I mean, it's kind of messed up, but if there was no other way to get him to stop.
What's wrong with her? Isn't it obvious? Her family were the victims of improper medical treatment, and then she had a nervous breakdown. Oh, sister, sometimes there just isn't a cure. That Dr. Vash wasn't human. He was a devil in a doctor's coat.
Right on.
I told her so many times not to believe in that medicine, but she... Yeah. Don't think for a second he was any better than those medicine dealers at the Mutual Aid Society. He was worse than they could ever aspire to be. At least the Mutual Aid Society doesn't hide the risk from the buyers. Vash gave that poison away to everyone for free. Even the elderly and the children. I hate them. I hate them all. How could they do this to my sister?
That just sounded like when Anakin in episode 3, he was talking about how he killed everyone, the men, the woman, even the children. So that line there kind of reminded me. I'm back.
Did you speak to her?
Sure
By
did.
the look on your face, I'm assuming you've come to understand the wonder medicine all too well. Be it Vash or the Mutual Aid Society, forces like that can take full advantage of the typical underworld state of mind. Let me tell you a story. There was once a brilliant overworld doctor with unmatched pharmaceutical skill. The doctor was set on developing a medicine that would steel the human body against the cold. He named his research project Blizzard Immunity. But his research met with obstruction time and time again, the biggest factor being a lack of test subjects. Tampering with the human immune system carries huge risk, and nobody in the overworld was willing to submit themselves to such experiments. As such, the doctor got in touch with his sister in the underworld, claiming that he wanted to support the medical effort below ground.
Okay, so she blames herself.
Naturally, his sister was overjoyed. After all, as far as medicine was concerned, her brother had always been the standard she'd strive to attain. She brought her brother underground and entrusted him with her clinic and laboratory.
Yeah.
I think you know what comes next.
I do. I never doubted her. What the
Issuing free medicine to the needy was just Vash's way of conducting experiments on his test subjects. On some level, his reagents were able to alleviate the patient's suffering, but nothing more. They would forget their pain for a while and neglect their regular treatment plans. The result? Patients with mild illness would attribute their recovery to the so-called wonder medicine, while patients with serious illness would quickly deteriorate, and sometimes die. I cannot accept that their fate was simply the result of misfortune or risk. No true doctor would accept that. That's why I want you to help me recover all the wonder medicine.
I will.
Are you willing to take on this assignment?
Don't have to ask me twice. Not my preferred course of action, but... What kind of choice is that?
Thank you. This will be hard for the people that have come to rely on the wonder medicine, but it's up to us to remove this false hope.
I agree. False hope sucks.
You mustn't hesitate. Recover every last reagent that Vash left behind. I'll take responsibility for the consequences. Don't worry about that.
False hope is evil. Nothing less.
Go. I'll be waiting for the good news.
Alright. Time to take down some drug dealers. Where am I going?
Stop right there. No one's allowed up ahead.
I'm here to buy.
Who are you trying to kid? You're that clinic woman's lackey. Did you think the Mutual Aid Society didn't have its own intel? She's after our medicine and sent you here to smash the place, right?
Are you gonna stop me?
Men, look lively and send this idiot packing already.
Oh yeah.
Tough luck running into me.
Yeah, Natasha's here too.
You can't run.
It's time.
Fighting is meaningless.
My turn.
Nap time.
Lance at the ready.
Easy.
Reach the end of the story in your own way.
Well, look who we have here. Your reputation precedes you, outsider. I didn't take you for a bandit and a thief.
Who are you?
You listen here. I'm the president of the Complex Illness Mutual Aid Society. The medicine we hold here is lifeblood for many of our members. Are you sure you want to deprive them of that?
Yeah?
Those poor patients. Along comes a life-saving wonder medicine only to be snatched away by a shameless bandit like you.
That's like lies. You think it helps, but it does more harm than good in the long run.
The underworld is full of sickness. What would happen if we left it all to that clinic to treat?
They would get better, actually.
My mutual aid society has relieved that doctor of patients at the end of the road. Shouldn't she be thanking me?
She would never give up on a patient.
Seems like you are quite bent on dismantling our operations, aren't you?
Oh, you bet.
Fine. Seeing as you came all this way, it'd be rude not to give you the opportunity. Men, seize the medicine thief.
Come on.
The truth of life and death, revealed in an instant. The sanctuary is but a vision. Break!
Told you I could fight.
Naughty
I'll try hard some. Watch this awesome move.
That'll take more than medicine.
Kick their ass, Nat.
I've no interest in conflict.
Try that again.
Blast it! What did we ever do to you? Why are you taking away our moneymaker?
Moneymaker? So you admit it then? You're not in this to save lives, you're in it to get rich.
What are you doing here? Oh, as if we didn't have enough trouble already.
Selling fake medicine with false kindness. You should have expected trouble to find you sooner or later. I have a responsibility to protect the well-being of my patients. Or to put it another way, I must eradicate any and all threats to them.
You can't save everyone. The underworld is teeming with sickness. How could you possibly pull it off?
You're right. I can't save everyone alone. But if I must, I would sacrifice food and sleep to treat them. The debt that Vash owes to the underworld rests with me. All I can do is help everyone to the best of my ability. To the very end.
So stubborn. In that sense, you're no different from your crazy brother.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I would too.
Thank you. Your actions today have saved many underworld families.
Can we kill him?
I'll find a way to dispose of Vash's leftover reagents. Next time the Mutual Aid Society wants to whip up a quack cure, they'll be out of luck. Let's go back to town. I still owe those patients an explanation.
Okay. Boulder Town.
It's getting late. Where to now? It looks like the patients have surrounded Natasha. Let's hear what they're saying.
What are you saying, Doctor? The wonder medicine is out of supply?
Correct. That medicine is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Wildfire has cut off the supply chain. Your ailments need rational, scientific treatment. Relying on pseudo-medicines will only worsen your condition.
Rational and scientific, huh? The way I see it, you're just jealous you lost your patients.
How dare you speak to Dr. Natasha like that? Where are your manners?
Ma'am, please think for a moment. How can you still be siding with her? That wonder medicine was working fine for us, and now it's gone because she wants it to be? How can she?
I understand your anger, but as your doctor, I ask you to trust my judgment. I will find a way to access more medical resources and help you through your struggles. If I must, I'll get help from the surface.
The surface. I almost forgot that you were an overworld big shot.
Watch it.
Have some respect for Dr. Natasha.
If it's respect she wants, she better find a replacement for the wonder medicine fast. If not, I'll tell everyone about how she set up Dr. Vash. I'm out of here.
That guy was threatening her with lies. I want to beat his ass.
Oh, you're here. I apologize. That must have made for uncomfortable viewing.
Nothing to apologize for. Yeah. I'd like to straighten out that loudmouth myself.
Don't let your emotions get the better of you. If I were in his shoes, I might well have had the same reaction. Now I need to focus on treating the patients and dispelling their doubts. Let's leave it for now. I'll feel a lot better once I've gotten rid of this mess that Vash left us.
What happened to him?
Now's as good a time as any to tell you Vash's whole story. If there's anything you want to know, don't hesitate to ask.
How did you kill him?
No, but I used to think we were so close that we may as well have been. I, actually grew up in the orphanage. It wasn't until I was adopted by an overworld family that life changed for me. My adoptive mother always saw me as her own flesh and blood, and Vash loved me like a sister. That is while we were still young. My adoptive parents belonged to a prominent medical family. As kids, we were exposed to all kinds of medical texts. When we were older, both of us got straight into Belobog's medical school. We were on a path into the medical profession. He was gentle and introverted. But when it came to work, he could be absurdly obsessive, like a completely different person. Whenever I made a mistake in an experiment, he'd bite my head off. And then a while later, he'd apologize and comfort me. He was conflicted in that way. I didn't know he had leftover reagents in Rivet Town. I was shocked when you told me. If you fail to make a clean break with the past creeps up on you. That's a long story. Ever since he was little, Vash had always wanted to develop a medicine called blizzard immunity.
Yeah, you told us that.
He saw the human body's vulnerability to cold as a disease, and wanted to cure it so that humanity could survive the eternal freeze. If he succeeded, people would be able to leave Belobog and rebuild their homes in the snow plains. I do admire his vision and perseverance, even though blizzard immunity always seemed unachievable to me. I knew his research in the overworld wasn't going well. I used to write to him and ask him to come down and stay with the kids in the orphanage for a while. I thought it might help take his mind off his research. But I was too young to know what long-term frustration could do to a person. It changed him in a terrible way. During his stay in the underworld, he met patients affected by fragmentum corrosion with mild symptoms. Compared with non-patients, their bodies reacted differently to hot and cold. And that fascinated Vash. He began to simulate mild fragmentum corrosion, thinking that it could lead to breakthroughs in developing blizzard immunity. Those reagents of his aren't cure-alls for critical illness. That doesn't exist. Vash made the reagents to mitigate the suffering of his patients in the short term. A convenient way for him to observe changes in his test subjects. But behind my back, he had been doling out the reagents to residents who were kept in the dark. When it finally struck me that something was wrong, his terrible research had already turned him into a madman.
Yeah, it was not human anymore.
Indeed. And it all happened under my nose. How ridiculous. My judgment was clouded by trust in a loved one.
I mean,
When his
fair.
experiments were exposed, I spent a long time with Oleg discussing how to handle the aftermath. This was shortly before the underworld was sealed off. There were hardly any Silvermane guards remaining. We spent ages trying to find a way to handle Vash. In the end, Oleg suggested that we banish him and permanently deny him access to the underworld. Had his victims found out the truth, Vash would have been torn to pieces by furious underworlders. I was young and weak at the time. Oleg must have worried about how I'd react to such a scenario, or he wouldn't have suggested banishment.
Yeah, it's not a... I mean, he killed people.
Looking back, it wasn't. He deserved much worse.
Yeah.
Oleg and I took Vash to the overworld. He made his final request to us. To take him outside the city to the snow plains he'd always wanted to conquer. His figure gradually disappeared into the snow curtain. I've been telling myself that Vash is dead ever since. Forgive me. I'm not good at telling stories. Vash was a terrible brother and a worse doctor. That's all you need to know. Let's call it a day. Thank you for cleaning up the mess my brother left behind. Here, for your trouble.
Oh, no need. Can I hug her? Oh, that's a very generous reward. Okay. There. It's not your fault, Nat. Sure. I'll come now. Hey.
Can I talk to you for a moment?
Yeah?
I have a favor to ask. Something... rather personal.
Okay. Of course.
I want to thank you again for recovering the Wonder Medicine.
No need.
It meant a lot to me. But disposing of Vash's reagents isn't enough to solve the medical supply shortage. Many of my patients can't be seen promptly, and my stock of medicine is running low. Thanks to you, the route to the overworld through the furnace core has reopened.
All right.
I'd like to use it to return to the surface and see if I can get some help.
Help from whom?
I knew you'd be interested. Remember my adoptive parents I mentioned to you a while ago?
Yes.
After the reopening of the Furnace Core passage, I had an idea. I wrote a letter and asked Sampo to deliver it to my parents' old address. I didn't have high hopes, but amazingly, Sampo brought me my mother's reply.
Nah, he wouldn't forge it.
That's exactly what I thought when I got her letter.
Huh.
Mom said they still live at the old house, but they're not working on the front lines anymore. They should still have some connections in the medical school and the hospital, though. If I'm lucky, maybe I can convince them to send extra medical supplies to the underworld. Of course, that's not the only reason for me to go back to the surface. I can't wait to visit my parents again. And I can tell from my mom's letter that they feel the same. If possible, I would like you to go with me.
Sure, but why?
Wonderful. That's such a relief. I've sent another letter to my mom telling her to find us near Fountain Plaza. Don't worry, I know my way around the administrative district.
Okay. Let's go, girl.